Coming online, coming online, coming online. Good evening, everybody. Auntie and the Flow here. Hope that you're having a great, well, I can't even say that shit. As good of a Wednesday as we all can be.
Nope. No.
What a
Hope
time.
that you're here. Hope that
Say that
you're
one more time.
alive. And you're.
Say that one more time.
Hope that you're alive.
Hope
and
that you're alive. Yeah, I mean, if you're listening, then you're definitely alive. Shout out to that one viewer out there that's watching. I'm just sharing things out on Facebook and Twitter, letting people know that some love is about to take place. I'm also pinning this live video to the top of the Love City Arts platforms and properties. What a gift it is to be alive. We joke about it, but to be alive on Wednesday, January 6th at 9:35 p.m. Eastern is a legit blessing and a gift. And even though the world seems to be on fire, the reason why we have the show, at least the reason why I do it, a lot of conversations in my life have been revolving around what is your why? Like, and I would throw this out to the room right now. Like, what is your why? What is your why for being? What is your why for the things you do? What is your why for being alive? And my why is that life is an ashy and dusty motherfucker. And I feel like when we are, and I'm going to pull up the chat right now so that I can see if anybody is giving some love. You know, if I had a choice of doing this with you or without you, human beings, fellow lovely human beings, I would want to do life with you. And one of the people that I like doing life with, one of the cardinals in my story, and a pillar in my life is the incomparable and intelligent and beautiful Nina Wilson.
Hi.
Hey. Oh, and Cousin Matthew's here.
Cousin Matthew.
That's fantastic. Shout out to Cousin Matthew. Your people have been acting all the way the fuck out today.
Okay.
And you know it and I know it, and we're going to be talking about it a little bit. But the reason why we're here on Love City Live tonight is just to be love and to show up as love in these spaces. Usually a couple of hundred people float through these conversations as we chat, and then at least 100 more watch it later. Matt's giving us love right now. Oh, sorry, Matthew is giving us love right now.
Matthew, not Matt.
Listen, I corrected myself quickly because I'm not trying to be on the receiving end of those shenanigans. How are people feeling tonight out there? Honestly, from your heart, we can talk about our subject of the week in a moment or two. But the reason why I jump on my why is that I believe that life is better with really cool and talented friends. I believe that life is better when we are looking out for each other and when we have each other's back. And part of the reason, or part of the ways that I choose to be present for the community I serve and for the people in my life is by just holding space. If you've never heard of what it means to hold space, it means doing exactly what you're doing right now and what Nina's doing right now. We're just kind of sitting here in a quarantine, in a panorama, and we're just present for each other. What's been coming up for you today? That would be a great way to enter into tonight's discussion, Nina. Like, what has been, you've been watching the same news I've been watching.
Yes.
You've been taking in pretty much similar stimuli that I have. What's been coming up for you as a strong Black woman? Because everybody right now is like, Stacey Abrams, this. I don't like, I claps. I don't know Stacey. I know Nina. So what's going on for you?
Ironically, I can introduce you to Stacey a little bit. She is.
You know her?
No. I mean, not like
Oh,
personally, but I know of her. We'll put it that way. I know that she's amazing. Is the short end of the
I love
story.
it.
Um, but what's been going on for me today? Today has been something of an emotional roller coaster for a lot of reasons. Um, the Capitol building getting taken over was only one of them, which is in and of itself an interesting place to find yourself. Uh, what else have I been feeling today? Anger and irritation. Lots of anger and lots of irritation at
Well,
white people, but at specific white people in my life personally.
mm,
Uh, to summarize, being disrespected and made to feel like my interests weren't important because they happened to be taking place during work hours,
mhm.
which is something I have no control over. I
Yeah.
can't I can't help when the world decides to start doing crazy shit.
You're speaking to a prioritization of work
Mm-hmm.
over the emotional needs of you in the moment.
Exactly, and I'm not capable of doing that. I haven't been for the past 13 months now. So the fact that it was brought up more than once to me was surprising because this is not new. Being emotional about the news is not new
Mhm.
for me personally or the people that actually pay attention
Yeah.
to what's going on with me.
Yeah.
So having that thrown in my face was an interesting experience. We're going to have to address it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like address what it means to be allowed to be human and
Mm-hmm.
inhabit that even in the midst of a 9 to 5 workday. Yeah. Definitely something to
Exactly.
explore. And I think that I have no plans for tonight's conversation. There's nowhere to be. I think it's important for us right now to anchor ourselves in that. Like the whole world is on fire, and
Mm.
here we are
Yep.
sitting. And so that's what I'll do because I know the director of this program and I know him very, very well. I'm very well acquainted with him. We could just take a cleansing breath together wherever you are listening to this podcast later and this video playing on YouTube later, or if you're watching it now live, I want you to just find your seat, whatever that means for you. Hopefully, if you're listening, you have a bottom, as we say to kids. Find wherever your bottom is and how your bottom is resting, and just take 3 deep breaths with me. And I want these to be intentional breaths because I want to pull you into this 42 minutes past the top of the hour, wherever you are. I want to pull you into what it means to be alive. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to find your seat. My monkey mind has been just running so rapidly forward this week. And sometimes you just need to just take a moment, even in the midst of your own programming, and just pause. We've been conditioned to believe that we have to fill every moment of our lives with something. I think Nina was saying that she has 5 devices going in her house simultaneously right now, and I have 6, not including the second monitor. And all of that can just really get us caught up in a couple of things. Needing to be reactive to what we're taking in, because we've been conditioned for years now that when we see something that is triggering to us, we should double tap really quickly if we like it, or put a sad emoji if we're sad about it, or Zuckerberg finally got over his shit and handed us the care emoji for a hug, but think about how long we went without that level of connection and emotion in these digital spaces. And so because we are being called to be so reactive, it can be easy to see what's on the news and immediately go like, I must hold my breath. And the last thing, friends, that I want you to be doing right now in this shenanigan driven culture and society is holding your breath. Please take a breath with me. Just do me a favor and take one more and let it be deeper than the one you just took. And exhale. So yeah, I have no agenda tonight beyond hanging out with Nina Wilson, also known as Auntie Neens. Nina's going to be starting in 2021 as part of the LCA zine and our digital platforms and digital media advice column called Ask Auntie Neens. I really admire the brilliant mind that is this Black woman. Like I said earlier, I don't know Stacey Abrams, but if I had a personal Stacey Abrams in my life, it would be someone that looked like Nina and sounded like Nina and talked like Nina. And so tonight we're going to be exploring just ever so casually, because I'm not Oprah or Montel or anyone else. Just friend to friend and homie to homie, talking about what it means to be timid in this life, because our Love City Arts word of the week is timid. This is where I go over to my notes and tell you, in case you didn't know, that the definition of the word timid is showing a lack of courage or confidence, semicolon, easily frightened. And so if you feel safe and comfortable enough to do so, if you're hearing my voice or seeing me and Nina now, just start thinking about the areas of your life. And I know it's difficult. I could have led this year with a positive emotion like love and joy and all the feel good ones, but I led with timid because, as we've seen today, I feel that our capacity to show courage and confidence is going to be a huge catalyst for healing in what we're going through. If you are timid, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being timid, because how you show up is how you show up, as you show up, and it's enough. But if you are watching what's happening, as I'm watching what's happening, and you're seeing your courage and confidence dwindle, if you're becoming easily frightened, like I didn't know that crazy terroristic white people were going to storm the Capitol and act that way when I chose last minute, the word timid to be the Love City Arts emotion of the week. I didn't know I was going to choose a word that meant showing a lack of courage and confidence, easily frightened. I've been easily frightened all last year. I've been easily frightened today. What say you, Nina, about what it means to be timid and easily frightened, especially at such a time as these?
I think, like you said, I know that you didn't know that this was going to happen, but it's amazing that you did pick this word of all words for this week and then have today happen, just in general, because I feel as though the events of today, not purposefully, but by happenstance, force you to address your timidity and whether or not you will continue to be timid in the face of the things that you're seeing that you know are wrong. You see these people acting the way that they're acting, and it makes no sense. So are you going to have little to no courage and not say anything? Are you going to use your voice? Are you going to speak up? Are you going to sit there and be like, well, and like postulate and just post for likes, not because that's what you actually feel? It's polarizing. because of today specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, my DMs have been how like the message will show you only like a hair of the whole message.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've read like 5 words from people in the DMs today and been like, "You know what? Not today, Satan." Like I cannot engage or take in more energy of feigned confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Um Even still, people are, for example, because a petty I'm a petty kind of lady. um
Okay.
I just want to illustrate what it's like to be um real, and to show truth. I'm gonna go into the comments of some of my pictures. Okay, so I put up 4 pictures of these clearly white people going into the Capitol building and doing what we knew they would do, because when you don't check, when white people don't police white people because they're so busy policing us,
Well.
when that happens, I see how this is plausible. But here's some of the comments that are coming out of my Facebook today. 23 comments. And this is the commentary of what Americans, black, white, and otherwise are saying. One person said to the pictures, the ghetto. Another person said, so fucking gross. What does this acronym mean? AYFKM. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, no, I'm not fucking kidding you. This is what we saw happening. There's other white people and black people in the space going, ugh. There's other people going, disgusting, embarrassing, sheep. This is so scary. Yep. You don't really see any ownership, even from white people. If you need to take it, take it.
Okay.
If there are, you know, if there are, if there was any a time to take responsibility for what's happening, it's now. But I'm getting comments like they see these pictures and they feel so proud. They see these pictures and feel so proud of what they are doing. They have no shame. I keep trying to illustrate to and demonstrate and tell white people in particular that that's not a they, that's a you. You are complicit and you are part of the reasons why we are having, you are part of your lack of voice, your lack of caring, your lack of wanting to be present to the suffering of other people and the concerns of other people and the empathy as it relates to other people. That is the reason why we're in this situation. Someone else goes on to say they're not even Trump supporters anymore. They're a cult. And a sick, embarrassing, one of the comments, they're not even Trump supporters anymore. They're a cult, a sick, embarrassing cult. They want nothing but power, and it's absolutely disgusting. Funny how when we marched peacefully for Black lives, we were tear gassed, shot at. Oh, this is a real one. And abducted, but they got into the Capitol, and absolutely nothing is being done about it. This white. Oh, I like you, Angie. Angie's one of the people who used to sit in my audience in Pennsylvania, who's a real one. She goes on to say, where's the police brutality for them, huh? Where are the screams of terror as people get shot at and tear gassed? I don't hear anything about the screams of these assholes exercising their white privilege. Oh, she had the time. And then others went on to go back into their typical white shit of saying, this is 100% disgusting. They this, they that. And the point.
But did you see? I'm curious though, because I got on Facebook to look as well just to see what people were saying, and I don't typically operate on Facebook. Facebook is not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if you saw anything in your comments that I saw on my news feed. One girl that I went to high school with said, prayers for the president and all the patriots on this day.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Prayers for the current sitting president?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that a lot of conversations need to start happening because it's like one thing that we're not doing as a society is questioning ignorance. It's like easy for us to say block, mute, delete. Um, and trust me, I am a block. I'm quick to cut. Some of you have been cut and you don't even know it. Um, that being said, like there's something to be said for a dialogue where you're going, what exactly are you praying for? Um,
Exactly. Yep.
because if you're praying for something that's aligned with my core mission and value of encouraging, equipping, and empowering people of all walks and backgrounds, if you're praying for that, then I'll throw my weight energetically behind you and my love behind you. If you're I can't even sound out.
She said praying for the president and patriots, and I did what I probably shouldn't have, not shouldn't have, but in retrospect, I wish I hadn't. I immediately just like blocked and deleted.
No,
But in
that's
retrospect, I wish I had challenged her and just been like, so who exactly, when you say patriots,
who are you talking
who are
about?
you talking about? Because I know who the Cheeto is talking about when he says patriots, but
Right.
who are you referring to? Because like you said, this girl's from high school. I haven't seen her in well over a decade. And even when we were in high school, we didn't talk since like what, sophomore year or something. So all of this was news to me.
But she's praying for the Patriots.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the football team.
No. No, we're not.
You know, I have started this week. I joined Clubhouse. I love Clubhouse. I think it's freaking fantastic if you use it the right way. And I've been encountering conversations as it relates to like unrelated churchy people in the space being like, you know, this is sin and that is sin and this, and I've just been wanting to ask like an inquiry question of, well, sin to who?
Exactly.
No.
What kind of sin?
Right.
Sin.
Let's get specific in our language. Let's get specific in our conversation so that we don't have to continue confusion. I think that we've had tons of opportunities over the last 365 days, white people, to get off of the highway of delusion, and yet you have chosen not to, and you praise people like Stacey Abrams for doing your work, and it's easy to scapegoat her and say that, you know, she should get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Sure. That's also white people shit though, because white people give that and white people can take that away. What I want is our actual freedom.
Exactly. We want tangible
Like,
results,
I
not a medal to put on the wall.
fuck your medal. I literally want fair treatment. We all know that if there were a bunch of uh, black people doing the exact same thing that we saw today, it wouldn't have just been one white lady shot, one white pro-Trump supporter shot. Let's be clear in our language. It would have been carnage for our black asses. You know it and I know it. So stay out of my DMs with your feigning of a lack of understanding. I have nothing to say to you. Get your ass in the yard. Get your ass in the yard. This is not for me to pick up. This is not for me to put down. This is for you. Back to the comments. I want so much to believe, says unnamed white lady. You'll see this publicly on my wall if you want. I want so much to believe they'll be arrested for their terrorist acts, but they didn't say that Black Lives Matter, so I doubt anything will happen to them. Anger, anger, angry. One of these white dudes down below said, I said the whites, to name that that's who's doing this behavior. And a person commented and said, not mine.
What?
Yeah, like that's this thing that white people do where they try to distance themselves
They
away
said not mine, as in like
the white
not
people.
your white people, not your white people.
Right. But see, the lack of a claiming of responsibility for 400 years of carnage and willful ignorance is exactly why we are the way we are. And you all are showing me in your DMs. One person said, "Bruh, this is embarrassing." Y'all are showing me in your DMs that, yeah, truly you are embarrassing. You should be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to pull punches for that anymore. I'm finding that I don't need to march anywhere. I don't need to protest anywhere. If I keep lighting you up and telling you that, like, I see that you're a joke. You're a joke in my DMs. You're a joke in my comment section. You're a joke in my life. And I have nothing to say to you because you see what's happening and you offer very empty platitudes like despicable, deplorable, deranged. I feel sick. You, white lady, feel sick?
You feel
She feels sick.
you feel sick.
And I didn't even come on here to like rail on white people, which is a joy of mine to do because you pretend to be smart. You pretend to be better than. And if it's not you, not mine, your cousins and relatives and aunties and grandma and your racist people in Kentucky.
So all the people that you didn't have the conversations that you needed to have with, those people, people that you didn't speak to, who you knew were rolling up to DC to do this head ass shit.
Yeah.
Those people, those same people.
And
not sure people.
With a line of more behind them that share your last name that want to do these things. And I just refuse to, I don't care if I ever work in professional theater again. I don't care if I ever sing another song or duet with a white person, or have a white director or choreographer. I know what this game is and I know my positioning in it. At one point I had to tell my former employer, like, I just refuse to be treated as inferior in my intelligence. Like, you're not going to no longer on January 6th are you going to be able to go down into my comment section, say things like 6 words: despicable, deplorable, deranged, I feel sick. Feel better that you expressed how different you are than these deranged white people, as you are a deranged white person. There's so much more to be said, but
I feel like you picked words out of a dictionary. You were like, okay, let me look up a word that's synonymous with disgusting. And then you chose the first 5 or 6 words that were available and said, that's my comment. And then they'll know that I stand in solidarity.
It's utter bullshit because
I use words.
Because the gentleman that was killed in Kenosha, I think that's how you pronounce it, has no justice. He lost complete limbs. He lost complete use of his limbs, and the police officer sworn to protect him was not charged. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but I like to fucking walk. And this man had kids, and his kids watched him be gunned down and paralyzed in front of them. And so now you have a generation of kids that remember the cops paralyzing their father on some bullshit. I don't have it anymore in me, Nina, to pretend like this does not anger me so that a white friend can feel more comfortable.
No.
I hope all you motherfuckers don't sleep tonight.
I hope all of you know that I'm livid and uncomfortable. I need you to know just how upset I am. I'm not speaking to you on purpose. The way that it upsets my spirit to have to talk to you right now, I can't do it. I physically can't. You're on Instagram liking my stuff. That's nice for you. What you don't know is that I cried about it twice earlier. Like, I can't.
You're a liar. They are liars. Even the friends. I'm talking about the ones who send me Venmos. Thank you very much. It's necessary.
We like it. Yes.
The ones who send me presents. Sure, individually you've been kind to me, but collectively as you move in the world, you're trash, white people. You are trash. Exactly. And I do not care if you follow me. I don't care if you never talk to me again, because with friends like you, I could be paralyzed and or die. So you really don't benefit me. Others in the comments saying they know how to climb the wall, joking about these white people scaling the Capitol wall and making a political commentary about the wall that Trump was building and how they know how to climb the wall. Like, you're completely disrespectful. You're completely off base. I will keep this message up on all of my podcasts and in my platforms because you are trash in your behavior. You are morally bankrupt and you have problems if you cannot see how you are connected to the issue. Sure, be in your house, have your degrees, and live your white ass life in the hills of whatever, but just know that we see you. Your casual comments and your behavior in the DMs is not lost on me. And you have nothing to prove to me. And for those of you like, fuck this guy, like, I don't need to feel badly about my life. Sure, fuck this guy. Just know that there's going to be another line of hundreds, if not thousands of millions of other people, black and brown, and also allies, they're going to be on your ass for the rest of your life. And I mean this shit. If you claim to want to be a friend in my life, a colleague of mine, a collaborator of mine, a producer of mine, a director of mine, someone who hires me, know that in every boardroom and every time I open my mouth, it's going to be geared towards black liberation because you never saw it for me. You never saw it for us.
And I had to see it for myself.
Not truly making fucking angry faces in the comments. And I know that's the way that you're trying to make sense of this difficulty on this Wednesday. But Wednesday has happened every Wednesday for black people.
Exactly. It's everyone's. This is not new. This is not new to us.
We get terrorized by black
people. This is not fresh. This is not new. This is not revolutionary. This is old news. Old, like the oldest of news. None of this is surprising. While shocking that they made it as far as they did, it is not surprising, and there is a distinction to be made there.
Wait, are you trying to wait, Nina? Are you saying to me that you're surprised that white?
No, I'm saying I'm not surprised. I personally am not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all. I okay. So full transparency, I've been on Clubhouse for the last 2 days nonstop. Lots of great conversations happening over there. Apparently, on Martin Luther King week, they're going to release Clubhouse to everybody. So just hang tight. Your moment to shine is coming too, I guess. And I'm just been doing it. So I've not been sleeping really well. I've not slept well as a black man in America since George Floyd. So that should tell you something. But I've not been sleeping well. And I was just up. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because when I saw the tweets when I woke up at 4 p.m, because that's my prerogative. I'm unemployed. I'm not getting a job right now because of COVID. For all of us who have the tape that plays that says that you're nothing without a job, you can send me an email about it and maybe I'll read it or not. I don't know what to do with that, given that there's a whole pandemic in the streets and my mother still asks me questions like, have you found a job yet? No, there's no job to find out there. I'll look for things digitally and beyond. But there's nothing out there for me. White people are asking me in a capitalistic patriarchal system to go out and subject my black body to things that they are even in and of themselves afraid of subjecting themselves to. So
and outside, they're asking you to go outside because they don't want to go outside.
I'm not doing it.
What?
But when I woke up at 4 p.m. And saw the tweets that the Capitol had been overtaken, frankly, I giggled because this is what white people have been doing for hundreds of years. They do not listen. They do not abide by the rules. They are fragile as a fucking porcelain cup. And so all of y'all
I have to amend my statement earlier. So I said that I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised that white people are whiting. I was surprised.
Let me turn this heat down in my house.
At the extent to which they were allowed to white, if that makes sense. I was surprised that they No, that's not true either. I wasn't surprised that they made it into the Capitol building. I was surprised that they made it into the Capitol building to the point where they're leaving Nancy Pelosi handwritten notes on her desk and kicking their feet up and taking selfies all over the
I
place.
was
I
I
was
was
not surprised that only 13 arrests were made after the fact. None of the arrests were made on the premises at the time. Meanwhile, you're seeing people's faces. There are strangers' pictures in my phone that I could send to whoever and have arrests made right now. But
made by who?
exactly, your cousins, your friends, their cousins,
See,
the
white
police
people.
who opened the gates and actually let them come in.
Oh yes.
The way that they were like, "Oh, you want to go over there? You okay? I can show you
I don't think it
where
was.
people's offices are."
I don't think that was the narrative. I actually don't think that it was, oh, okay, let's just let them in. I think that white people are programmed in the same way that a lot of our black asses are programmed to not harm a single head on the hair of what is clearly a deranged and delusional exception to the rules. Like to them, it's like these are just white people that are
Whiting.
whiting, but let's be clear, like they are white people who are just acting like outside of the norm, and so
Yeah.
a special dispensation or a special accommodation must be given to these white people. I'm actually, you know what, I'm not surprised that they got in. I'm not surprised that they were allowed to be in. I'm not surprised that they made it as far as they did. I'm not surprised that they were in Nancy Pelosi's office because I know Nancy Pelosi, and so like I'm not surprised about any of that. I'm actually surprised mostly that they shot a white lady. That's actually what I'm the most surprised by.
Have you seen the footage for it, or like to
What did you
understand
shooting this white
this?
lady?
Yes, like the just understanding the circumstances around how she got shot. I'm curious. I
You're
haven't
asking me
seen
if
it.
I've seen it.
Yes, or
No,
if you've okay.
I don't know any of the circumstances. I'm that's the only piece of this that I've not figured out, because
Mm-hmm.
the rule of the white supremacist handbook that all of you read from and that all of us read from, frankly, is that you do not harm
White
a
women.
white lady.
Mm-hmm.
We see how Missy Ann, you don't touch her. The white lady in the slave house, whose father rapes you, whose father kills you, whose husband and brother ties you to a tree, whose cousins sell you away from your wife and husband and kids. I'm surprised that white lady was shot today. And I think that if anything, you all need to be acutely aware of what we're looking at now in through that lens. The fact that even though she was a deranged white lady that scaled the walls of the Capitol and got inside and got shot, and she'll fill out like the blanks of she'll fill in the blanks of you all being like, oh yeah, she's not like us. That was a deranged white person, without seeing yourself in her. The audacity, the way you all cut lines in public, stand on our feet in bars, slide into our DMs, saying you're going to buy our medications. Don't make me name your name, because that just happened 3 weeks ago, where I was online talking about my suicidal ideation and how I struggle mentally through all of these health crises. And a well-meaning white lady from my college experience slid into my DM saying, because she called in my prescriptions that I don't even have, CVS in my town, in his name. Get the fuck out of here. Get the literal fuck out of here.
That's not the purpose. That's not the point. You're missing the entire purpose.
Well, they miss the point because they don't listen. And I got to tell you, if you are a so-called abolitionist, friend of mine, gain knowledge and understanding. Like, try to see daily in yourself the pictures of the deplorables that we see on television today. See yourself in that, because I'm telling you, to greater and lesser degrees, it is you. And a lot of you don't ask me how it is you, because I'll tell you how it is you. I'll go into these comments and into these receipts and tell you that you empirically are no different than the people that were on Capitol Hill today, and you're no empirically different than your ancestors. You're not. Because if you were, things would be different.
Okay.
But you're not, because things are as they are. And you can send me hundreds of more dollars on Venmo. Thank you kindly. You could send me all of the t-shirts and the coloring books and you can do all of those things and simultaneously still be trash. Your complicits and your complacency as it relates to your identity in whiteness.
Yeah, the two are not mutually exclusive.
They're not.
You can be both at the same time.
We're not. If I can be a black man that can be seen on site and shot in front of my apartment without anyone knowing my name or anything else, then you can be that white person who's trash and a friend. Yeah. And that's just what it's going to be. That is a diversion in the woods. That the reason why we are here intentionally is to talk about the Love City Arts Emotion of the Week. I picked it before we even walked into this new manifestation of white supremacy. The word is timid, meaning lacking courage and confidence. And I think that the more that the layers of our lives get peeled away from us, the less timidity I have. It's like I literally, as a black man in America right now, have nothing to lose. That is the reason why homie went upside other homie's head with that twisted tea can. It is because, okay, so if you think about the optics of the twisted tea moment, this was a white man calling a black man the N-word, and the black man had calmly said, like, stop calling me that.
Yeah.
He stood there calmly. I think he even had like a couple sodas, like regular, like, like sodas.
He had an assorted, like a bag of assorted goods.
And he just kind of like, please stop talking to me that way. Please stop.
He stayed calm. He stayed calmer than most.
Yeah, just like, could you
cool and collected?
Stop calling me that? Like, I don't mind gelling with you. I mean, from my optic, the white guy looked like he had grown up in a community or around a bunch of black people who had allowed him to be way too comfortable with the language he was using. And so he just felt like he had right, because he kept saying like, nigga, where you from? Nigga, where you from? As if like in his community of blacks and whites, that word was easy to be, exchanged.
Like that's the whole sentence.
Yeah.
Like it's not words that make up a sentence. That's the whole sentence.
Well, he just tried to like seem like in my lens, like he felt like he deserved to say it. And I'm telling you, white people, you will lose teeth around me. I will do a full Shawshank Redemption sentence. You speak that word around me. I've had it happen to me by friends who were trying me years ago, and I think about how they would lose teeth today. So anyway, he calmly said, please stop using that. And the guy repetitively showed aggression and used it and got a twisted tea can upside the head. And as he's being pummeled by this black man or this man of color, he looks a little white to me, but as he's getting pummeled by this black man, the black man is saying like, I told you not to say this to me. I don't give a fuck. And I need y'all to, like, for all of your sensationalism, to really focus in on that, because I am that brother and that brother is me. I told you to stop treating me this way. I told you to stop ignoring my pain. I told you to stop trying to like gift me out of your white guilt. I told you all of these things and you didn't listen. And now I sincerely don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't. I don't need a single white person in my life for the rest of my life. Like, I don't give a fuck about you. I really don't give a fuck about you. And I need people to hear this. Like, I have navigated this business with people who loved me and adored me. I've been like around the world and affirmed by lovely people. If you think your lukewarm self, not wanting to actually take a visible and visceral active stance against white supremacy, but trying to like hold your black friend in place, if you think that's going to do in 2021, fuck you to your face. Fuck you. And the views and opinions of me do not reflect Auntie Neens and subsidiaries. I'm speaking for Auntie.
They're close though.
I know they're close, but
they're not far removed.
But you got a job and I don't. And so like I wanted to put that on the record for you, white supremacist motherfuckers that want to like lift stuff out of context and then try to like make stories. I speak for me now, and what I'm saying is, like, you've been trash, you are trash, and you've held your black friends actually in silence. You made our lives uncomfortable. You've said head ass shit, and you put us in awkward situations. You've come to our house, not you, cousin Matthew, but others have come to the house, eaten our good food, and you turned your back on us. And I am, you know, take over. I'm taking up too much. Go, yeah.
I mean, you have points were made. Points have been made. We were having a conversation last night about posturing, and while that conversation was in regards to religion, it is still widely applicable to this conversation. Do not posture your support for me. Do not make me feel like I'm your exceptional black friend. I loathe that feeling, and it makes no sense. Either you support me and you support what I support, or you don't. And if you're not willing to come out and say it out loud, then I'm really not sure what else to tell you at this point. And that in turn connects to being timid. Are you afraid to tell me how you really feel? Because I'm not afraid to tell you how I'm stressed the fuck out and can't deal with anything else that you're talking about to me right now, because it has nothing to do with the stress that's going on in my life because of what I'm seeing on the news and how we're being killed in the streets and medically with a virus because no one cares. So where do your loyalties actually lie?
Oh, we know where their loyalties lie. Their loyalties lie with themselves. And now guess what? Anything you can do, I can do better.
With receipts.
With receipts. And so now what it's looking like for me, so this is a funny thing that happened the other night. So a white guy and his wife, who are going through a horrible church experience, they'll know where they are if they watch this later, reached out to me. And you know that call where people want to see if you've got any work opportunities or what's going on for you. And I mean, maybe I just get these calls because of how I move in music and production. But anyway, the call, they got progressively drunker as the conversation went on, and I got progressively higher as the conversation went on. And so they which I'm about to do in a second. And like their walls started coming down, and they weren't all the walls that I wanted to see come down, but walls started coming down, and I started doing my thing of emphatically and passionately talking about how trash white people are. Not some of you, all of you. And the reason why I say all of you is because of what we're witnessing. When you can change what we're witnessing, then I'm going to stop saying all of you. But since we only make up 12% of the population, and you all are acting this way, it's all of you. So I said it. I was just talking the way I talk and just kind of spitting my Tuesday, for example, musings. And he dropped into this like fear, the scared white man face thing that we all know and love. And he said, "You're not going to like kill me, are you?" And it was so.
Wait.
Take as much time as you need.
I'm sorry.
Take as much time as you need. I'll puff while you take your time. And this is my show. So,
I just have questions.
I'll answer. Go on.
Okay, so you're in conversation with these white people who have been in your life for a presumably extended amount of time.
Since undergrad. So not to date myself,
a while ago.
Like 18 years ago.
And you're expressing yourself and your opinions about white people, which are factual.
And how white people are morally bankrupt in that they've watched this happen for 400 years up until January 6, 2021. All of you have watched this unfold for 400 years up until today.
And ain't say shit.
And you just, yeah. So that's happening. And, pardon me, weed cough, not COVID. He then says to me very sincerely, it almost like broke me out of the moment because I'm like, like just going on. He goes, so you don't want to kill me, do you? And I stopped him and I said, that's your problem because you think that Black people act like you. Like you think that Black people think the way you do. Like there's no way that he would have been able to jump, Nina, from me speaking passionately about my disdain for white people and their lukewarm shenanigans and how they really are not, none of you are who you say you are. None of you are who you say you are. And so I'm speaking that way. And he's like, you don't want to like kill me, do you? And I said,
what about anything that I have said about how I am displeased with the way that white people act in this country and have consistently acted for decades and generations and centuries makes you think that I'm going to come pull some firearm, presumably from my secret stash in the back, roll up to your house and let a couple off?
I wish I had a secret stash to roll a couple off. I'd fire them in the air just to scare y'all into some place of being, but like I don't want to harm your life. That's what you do to us.
Exactly.
That's what you do.
And you're lucky and you're blessed that we're not looking for revolution. We're really just looking for equality. That's what it comes down to.
Equity and equality, yeah.
We're not looking for revenge. If we were looking for revenge, y'all would be dead.
A long time ago. Because I got a couple names in my head. So like it is the beauty and the grace of Black people and Indigenous people that everything runs as smoothly as it is. It is a grace and a kindness that we are as unbothered as we choose to be. If we ever got bothered, this whole thing that played out on the Capitol Day would be child's play. Child's play. Just the anger in my chest would outmaneuver any of these white people that we saw on the news today. Y'all need to understand. We're going to get very clear in this year. We're going to explore emotions like being timid and joyful emotions as well. But we're going to have real conversations this year on my podcast and on my platforms and my spaces. And there's the door if you want to go. But we're going to have a very real. And one left. Praise God. We're going to have very real conversations in 2021 because the alternatives do not serve me. It only when I think about the schools I went to and the conversations I laughed at and your awful, corny jokes that I had to laugh at over the years to preserve my job and my health care and my
upward. Make you feel comfortable, to keep you happy. While I'm sitting over here squirming in my seat at the audacity with which you just let that comment roll off your tongue like it means nothing.
I don't need a friend. I don't need an employer. I don't need a cat. I don't need a dog or anybody like that or any presence in my life like that anymore, because that's not what I came here for. Like I'm the descendant of actual slaves. My great-great-grandma Sally was a slave at the North Carolina-Virginia line. And for all that we've gone through, I'm no longer going to dignify your willful ignorance. No. You all really are the best actors. You need you all need Tony Award winning accolades and Oscars because you see the same news. And I'm not a unicorn, so I'm not smarter than anybody else. I have a piece of a degree, and I see talking to a Columbia grad on the line right now, and I can see what's real and what's happening. Mm-hmm. And then you come to my dinner table or you come into my DMs or onto my comments and let's go back again. And you say shit like, They see these pictures and feel proud of what they're doing. They have no shame. No, you have no shame for coming over on my Facebook wall talking about how you're so different. You are not different. And that's the reason why I guess I'll be eating my own food and singing my own songs and creating my own opportunities, because needing to cowtail, I think that's how they say it.
Kowtow.
Thank you, ma'am. That's why I keep educated people around me, because
I'm
not all there sometimes. What was it?
Kowtow.
Kowtow.
Mm-hmm.
Kowtow. I'm not going to kowtow to nonsense anymore. And I remember telling Bob, whose last name I'll withhold for now, my former boss, I remember him asking me to be kinder to very mean-spirited white people. So think about this. My white man boss, you know who I'm talking about.
No, I know who you're talking about, but I've also been told that, and it's all clicking. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, continue,
so
please.
He said to me, because I was complaining about the fact that, I mean, this is a woman who still to this day, if you can figure it out through LinkedIn, then you get the prize. This is a lady who is still stealing from the company. I don't know how she works it out now, but at the time, she was clocking like 25 to 30 hours of OT under the table on the company's dime for years, this white lady.
Oh my.
Like going into the time clock, 40 hours a week, she was putting in like 65 hours a week, but you would see her by the like water cooler. You would see her take extra lunch. Like you would see her like not in the meetings you were in. Like this was a white lady that was getting 25 hours extra,
ma'am, something ain't adding up,
of overtime from the company. And my boss told me, as it related to her, that because she worked for people in high places, I needed to be mindful of who she had ear of and the pipeline that she had to the top. And I told him very clearly that she, and I named her name, she has a pipeline to my ass.
I saw that coming.
She's a pipeline to my ass. And the reason why she has a pipeline to my ass is because, like, honestly, I'm a person of integrity. Like, what you see is what you get with me. All my friends can attest to this. And for you niggas that think I'm mysterious and in shadows and what have you, no, if you ask me correct, like how I feel about a situation or you or whatever, I'll tell you the truth. You won't like it, but I'll tell you the truth. And so why would you ask a person of high integrity that's only logging in the 40 hours that I'm actually allowed to? I never got any overtime there. I never clocked any. I did my 40 and I did them well. Why would you ask the guy who is actually playing by the rules to bow down to the white lady who's stealing from the entire company? She can kiss my whole ass. And I told him, I said, I'm done pretending that I'm not as smart as I am to make you feel like you're more intelligent. And I'm telling y'all, real talk, a lot of you white people only feel as smart as you do because people around you have not been saying anything. And newsflash, if you were smart as you say you are, we wouldn't be in this predicament.
Literally, we wouldn't be here.
If you listen, if you heard of a company that was tormenting and torturing people for 400 years, would that be a viable operation? If you heard of an operation where for 400 years to the present moment, like January 6th, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, wherever the fuck you are, if you heard about a company that for hundreds of years had functioned in squalor and bloodshed, would you find that to be a competent, intelligent operation?
I'll wait.
And yet you want the credibility and the DM time, and you want to be at my house eating my food. Like you want all of God's goodness.
No, you don't get it both ways. You do not get it. You no longer get it both. After the year that we have had with 2020,
I'm done.
Let me tell you something. You do not get it both ways. You can stick around if you want to, but I'm not sugarcoating things anymore. I don't have the time, nor the energy, nor the patience.
Who I don't know if you can cook well or not. Do you cook well?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't think I've ever had your food. I know you. I know you've had my food. I don't think I've ever had your food because whenever I'm over there, it's always Uber Eats or passing out on the floor of my own
Oh,
bed.
the times. I think I cooked for like Thanksgiving or something. I can't
I don't
remember. For
remember.
Friendsgiving, who knows what it was.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to have your food all the same, but like Nina's food and my food is all I need. And Nina's told me, and I believe her, that she's going to be a part of my life as long as we're alive and physically focused for the rest of my days.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as her good food and my good food and a good table and laugh and a good bottle of wine is always available,
A
I
couple.
don't need y'all no more. And I think one of the biggest tools of white supremacy and one of the biggest lies of white supremacy is that we need white people to be okay. And see,
Hmm.
here's the deal. If I can walk up these stairs and get shot by a cop on my staircase with your white asses nowhere around to serve and protect me,
Hmm.
then what the fuck are you good for?
Exactly. You're not with me 110% of the time. So what? How do you plan on protecting me
They don't.
from
And what,
all the
and
people
what am
who
I
would do me harm?
and what am I won't you be my neighbor? I was doing this thing called Won't You Be My Neighbor last year. I did about 35 sessions of it where I presided and facilitated over a conversation between white people and black people to try to heal this thing. And in one of the last ones, a white woman said to me that she had been spending her time Googling how to protect black people.
Literally?
She
I
had
mean, I know literally she
more,
was
more
Googling, but
specifically,
she was,
she had typed into, she opened Google.
yes.
And that's how crazy. This is why I'm only doing these programs like every other month or quarterly going forward, because I can't abide them pretending like they're smart in areas of their, like they actually would walk into, like they'd walk into a store or into a class or into any space with me with their nose up.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, like, this is a woman who, oh Lord, I shouldn't, this is a woman who rejected me for my expertise in marketing and business development. She said we couldn't do takebacks anymore because she didn't, it felt like to her, she didn't say this, but the energy felt like that she wasn't getting an even exchange from me intellectually because she was giving me acting training. Y'all gonna figure out who this is. And I was giving her business development coaching, and she just stopped it abruptly because she wanted to focus on different things, and that I would be more than welcome to reach out to her
In the
whenever I
ear.
needed to for a hand up. And she just came off as she was so smart. But then flash forward a few days later, she's in my session that has no value to her, saying that she went onto Al Gore's internet, which is another lie of a white man, because y'all lie all the time to yourselves more than
Mm.
and she was going, okay, so she opened up Chrome
Yes.
on her phone browser, right? And she went into Chrome and she said how to protect how to protect black women on the street, as an act of solidarity. And I stopped everything without trying to demean her or be inhumane to her. I said, well, how do you like to feel safe in the street? Because if you can dial into how you as a human like to feel safe in these streets, then you might have some empathy, which y'all don't have, around how a black woman would feel. Like, it's not that far of a reach if you're not evil. But see, y'all don't like it when I say shit like white people are morally bankrupt and evil. Everybody's like, oh, I don't like saying that. Ooh, that's too harsh. But like, what do you call a white woman in front of me, eyeball to eyeball? Not hyperbole. I don't record these sessions because if I did, I'd be dragging bitches. But like, eyeball to eyeball, hand to God, she said to me, I went in and I Googled how to protect black women on the street.
That
As
doesn't even make any sense. Have you
well,
actually spoken to a black woman?
as if black women, she has one on her staff, which is
That's
dangerous. Um,
not
As if black women don't have the same fears and concerns as a white woman would.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's the kind of bullshit I'm going to start dismantling with my voice. God has been so good to all of us, whether you believe in God or a power called God or not. Y'all know I don't give a fuck about your soul salvation. I'm trying to survive Wednesday. But God has been so good to me that He has, they have, she has, it has given me a voice that sings some pretty awesome notes, and also speaking voice to actually speak truth to power. And that starts in my insular network and then goes beyond to where it's like, what the fuck do you? And I said to her, what the fuck do you mean?
I would have questions as a black woman, as one of the people that you are saying that you want to protect. I have questions. What does that mean? What does that look like in real life? Have you actually spoken to a black woman about this? You say that you have one on your staff. That's nice. Have you asked her about these questions? Do you talk to her about things that make her feel uncomfortable? Do you just send her work tasks and that's it? What do you mean protect black women from what? Everything? That's a long list. That is a very long list.
This is how we know that it's still games. And these are people that are my age. This is not, I want to really dismantle the idea that this is someone's grandmother or someone's out of touch auntie. This is someone that was born in 1984, just like my black ass.
Young enough to have the education and old enough to know better.
Both. And they choose not to. They choose to come into my DMs and say, I love you, you're my favorite, and then they go to sleep at night feeling like they did something. I'm here to tell you very boldly that you ain't shit, and you ain't did shit. And you're right, Matt. Damn is right. Like, it is a damn kind of a situation. We're really going to have to work to step up our collective energies. And by collective energies, I mean white people. It's getting too clear that I take that back. It's not getting too clear. It's been clear that it's been clear that you do not police yourselves as well as you police us.
Say it again.
You do not police yourselves as well as you police us. You don't have the same tenacity and fortitude and concentration about policing each other. One of the local law enforcement agencies on the news today were saying that they didn't know how they would contain these white supremacists on Capitol Hill. You contain Ferguson.
You contain BLM protests throughout the summer. Multiple protests across Washington, D.C., across this entire country. We were contained. You trapped us on bridges. You trapped us in streets. You arrested people who were doing nothing more than making their voices heard about Black people who were dying in the streets for no reason. And yet, when you have people storming a Capitol building, you suddenly don't remember how to do your job.
We saw them do this in Michigan. We saw these Proud Boys. I don't know what the fuck they're proud about.
Couldn't tell you.
But we saw, well, if you look at them, I mean, I don't even need to know them. If you look at how raggedy they look,
I'm like, you're proud. You look
inbred,
disheveled, sir. You need
look
a shower.
inbred. You look like your mother had sex with your uncle, and you came here, and yet you want me. But we watched those people in Michigan, those still children of the Most High. We watched them go to the Michigan steps, call that female governor out of her name and everything. And white people in power permitted this to happen.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why the crazier white lady on Capitol Hill paid for it with her life today. And I
Mhm.
think that white people collectively are responsible for her death in the same way that you're responsible for the death of the white lady that got mowed down. I think it was in Virginia. At that protest, a white woman
Mm.
died hit by the car.
Yes, yes, yes.
Y'all really want to talk about black on black crime and how black people kill other black people. Also, your fault, because you do not provide us with equitable
Resources.
resources to be able to, like, of course, if all if all of the dudes that had MacBook Pros to create their artistry the way I do had it, they wouldn't be shooting anybody.
Not to mention the fact that you're going to kill people who live closest to you, in proximity with you. Most black people live around other black people, just like most white people live around other white people.
It's a talking point that they use to keep us from realizing that they're evil.
It's
And I use this
ridiculous.
word. Let me make sure that I'm using this word properly, because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm uh, going too deep into the white devil trope. Let me find the, even though it's true. Let me see. Let's see definition. The definition of evil is profoundly immoral and wicked. Okay.
Sounds
Um,
accurate.
let me go and then look up immoral. To go deeper into evil. We love a good etymology.
Mm.
Um, Yeah, not conforming to accepted standards of morality. Okay, well, then let's go deeper than that. Then what's morality? Principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. Okay, yeah. So that's why when I say that white people are morally bankrupt and morally evil, this is what I'm speaking to. um you lack the principles concerning a distinction between right and wrong and good and bad behavior. You figured out a way through cognitive dissonance, look it up. You figured out a way to make those white people,
Mm-hmm.
and you're different. And the bold thing that I've been saying without timidity is
Hmm.
that you are the same.
Exactly.
You are the same.
If you're not acting,
Nope, no, no,
I
no.
see no difference. I see
I'm,
no
there's
difference.
no caveat right now, because I mean you can do a caveat if you want to, but I'm not gonna do a
I
caveat.
tried to come up with one. I don't have one.
There isn't one. Like you you sleep at night more comfortably than I do. I haven't slept in 3 days, because of the things going on in the country and because of my life in free fall as a black man in America. And you seem to be sleeping just fine, most of you.
Majority of the people that I know who are of color and black specifically have not slept well in a year, myself included.
I'm not. I've installed a security system and everything in my house to try to like give myself a sense of peace and comfort for white people's fuck shit.
I have none.
None. There is no peace to be had, because I'm letting y'all know right now, your ministry is not in my DMs. Your ministry is in your mother's.
Okay.
Your ministry is not in my DMs. Your ministry is in other white people's DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Dre is going to be okay. Dre has an army of 4 strong, intelligent, and capable black women around me on the north, south, east, and west. These are intelligent people, some of them with Ivy League degrees. These are people with money and finance. These are people with emotional presence, for me. So I'm okay. Don't check on me anymore. Check
Hmm.
on the white people in your communities that are saying things to their TV like, how could this happen on January 6th, 2021?
Yep.
Speak to that motherfucking ignorance. Because you come over here with the dilly and the dallying, I'm gonna light you up. And the reason I'm gonna light you up is because you deserve to be lit up, because you lack the principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong and good and bad behavior. And
Exactly.
and sooner than later, you're gonna say some head ass shit like, well, I just hope you take care of yourself. And that's going to set me off because you're not taking care of me. And your mama's not taking care of me. And your people aren't taking care of me. And you're not holding the government accountable for taking care of me. You're in my DMs so you can sleep at night while I'm not sleeping. So I love you and fuck you.
Literally at the same time, because again, not mutually exclusive.
I can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Okay.
We contain multitudes.
We sure do. Sure do.
No one ever gave me the freedom and space in my life to think that I could both love a white person in my life and say fuck you.
At the same time. At the same time.
I found it. I found it in Jesus. I found it in 2020 because just like you, I have this very metallic device in my hands with a GPS in it. Y'all know where we are 24/7 and what we're doing 24/7. When I fart in my room, the microphone's on to tell Zuckerberg that I did. And yet y'all still can't figure out how to leave black people alone in the grocery store. You can't figure out how to leave us alone in the parking lot of the Walmart. You can't figure out how to keep our black asses alive and not shoot us in front of our children. You cannot figure out white people how to eat a bowl of ice cream
in your house,
Boston John,
your own house.
So you don't get to call the shots anymore over here. No mas, nunca jamás, because literally we have been passive and calm and easy going and very gracious in the last year. But when you kill, it started with Trayvon for me. It was Trayvon for me because Trayvon was a kid, a child.
Yeah.
And y'all allowed that white man to not only kill our child, but
to get away with
it and to then go through the country autographing bags of Skittles.
Does he have a book also?
That's what you white people did. You started a GoFundMe. Y'all didn't go into GoFundMe and say, like, you should shut that down. You didn't show up outside the public library and other spaces where he was signing bags of Skittles, signifying that he killed Trayvon with a bag of Skittles in his hand. Y'all didn't do that. Y'all didn't protect Trayvon.
No.
You didn't take care of what's his fuck. I'm not even gonna speak his name on my shit. Rhymes with Memerson. I like, y'all didn't do that. What you did was say, oh, what a shit.
Terrible.
Deplorable, disgusting, and all the shit. Go look on my public Facebook wall right the fuck now and see how y'all behave when you see white people mistreating people and doing things they're not supposed to do. There's a whole wall of 23 comments of the way y'all behave, and y'all are my friends. So imagine what Jim Bob and Jamie Jane and everybody else is doing by the Oreos in Walmart to black people who just want to get their chicken or their sandwiches or their toilet paper and go home. Y'all kill that black man and black woman in the grocery store. An elderly 60-something years old. These are the voices and the images that play in my black ass head. And
when I'm trying to sleep.
This
is what replays when my eyes are
closed. Enjoy your vacations. Enjoy your destination weddings. Enjoy all your fuck shit. Like, enjoy laughing about frivolous things on the internet, white people. Enjoy that dearly. But what I'm thinking about is that grandmother and grandfather, two different families, that older black man and older black woman, 65 years old, in the grocery store trying to get produce for the families that they love, and a white man, you fucking terrorist, came in and just blew them away. And y'all over here, let me go back to the comments. Y'all are on my wall going, appalling, period. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters and a period. What the fuck is that going to do for me in 2021?
I'm waiting.
So we're going to have some real conversations or you're dead to me. And I mean it. We're going to have some real conversations or you're dead to me. Because as far as I'm concerned, I could walk up these streets, head a block away from here. Well, actually 2.5 miles away from here. On Long Island, they hung a black man last year.
Sure did.
Of my stature and size. Like snatched his ass off the streets and hung him from a tree 2 miles away from here last year.
That's a Saturday afternoon stroll.
Just a Saturday afternoon stroll.
And ending up in a tree.
Throughout the country. That's what can happen to me. So fuck you. You can have your jobs. You can have like God is going to be my supply and my money will come and I'll be okay and I'll be provided for and taken care of. But having people in my energy that call themselves friends but don't really bestow friendship, that don't really change the circumstances of my black ass life. What good are you? You're actually pretending, and for me to pretend for me to jump into this game with you and pretend like it's not a fallacy would be frankly beneath me. What say you, Nina?
I completely agree. I can't, again, posturing. I'm not going to posture and make you feel comfortable just because you are appalled. You are appalled. This is my life. Every day I wonder whether I'm going to come home, whether my cousins are going to come home, whether any black person that I have ever run into in my entire life is going to make it back home. And even then, we're not safe in our homes either. So
we're not. I mean, we saw that Botham John was eating a bowl of
ice cream
vanilla ice cream
on the sofa of his home.
His house. In his name, leased to him.
Breonna Taylor was asleep in her bed, in her own bed.
In her own bed. And they charged the officers for the damage to the wall, but
because
not
property means more than a human life.
Well, we know how white people operate. I mean, I've been in Black Lives Matter protests myself when I was going to protest. I'm a singer professionally. I can't be out here screaming with y'all about shit that y'all won't fix over 400 years. But when I was going to protest, I watched a white man look at a cop because I was standing next to his son and said, "Are you going to allow him to shove my son that way?" And I didn't even touch that kid. I was like 2 feet away from that kid. And I watched a white man who was mad about us taking over because we were doing an occupation. So we were taking over a Columbus Circle in the midst of the holiday. So white people wanted to have their little candy apples and, they wanted to, it's the most wonderful time. Like they wanted to have their moment. We were out there like highlighting the names of black people who have been tormented and punished and killed, not punished, tormented and murdered by the police that swore to protect them. And while I'm standing there shouting out the names of people, countless people who've died at the hands of police brutality, I see this little average looking white kid, basic looking white kid, who is, I see you, who is just standing there like, enjoying it like in his thing, but he's frightened because he's never seen aggression because y'all are afraid of confrontation. So he had never seen aggression from black people, I guess. And it was just ruining his vacation and his moment. And I heard the dad out loud say to a cop that was closest to me, "You're just going to allow that guy to shove my kid like that?"
The shot I didn't touch?
People who know me know that I don't fuck with kids like that because I don't got none. So that's not my problem. But I would never shove a child just because. I thought about it because your kids are badly behaved because you don't parent worth a damn. But I would never shove a child. And in that moment, my life hung in the balance of whether or not that cop decided
to engage.
Yeah, and I could have died that day for a lie. So you ain't shit. And I don't see you improving. All right. So tonight we're talking about and we're about to end because this was just meant to be an extemporaneous sharing of energy. this thing could have gone completely different if I hadn't gotten set off by watching white people. I mean,
White.
they white, and she got. I mean, the lady that got killed today, may she rest in peace. Although I don't know because she's a pro-Trumper, so she probably didn't like me.
I don't know about that.
So, but I still kind of wanted to rest at peace because the same energy that made my white friend of 20 years ask me if I wanted to kill him, um, is the same kind of energy that took her into that building today and caused her to lose her life. And because I'm more compassionate than white people could ever be, I do want her to rest in peace. And I do want her to find the peace that she did not find in this life because it's better than what she had. But this conversation would have gone a lot differently tonight if we were not sitting on top of what I feel to be a ticking time bomb. I think that white women dying on the Capitol after having the walls breached, and a white man getting popped in the mouth so graciously and effortlessly with
twisted teeth going down in history.
I think it's just the start of a moment in our history where white people are going to have to put up or shut up. Like, you're either lying about who you say you are or you're about that life. And you're going to get clocked by even your friends that much quicker because we don't have the luxury that you have of just turning and looking away. We don't get the luxury of sliding into a DM, feeling better, and then walking away. Like, I'm in my oppression face all the time. And so either we're going to have real conversations, and let me be very clear, real conversations when the fuck I feel like it.
Yes, on my time. On my time.
On my turn.
When you decide, I'm going to reach out right now while all of this is taking place in one of the most stressful days of this year, and there have only been 5 of them, and you want to have this conversation now?
I don't owe you shit. And I'll tell you, I don't
have, never will. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you right now.
It's
absolutely not.
It's actually a service that I'm doing, a service offering, if you will.
You're lucky I'm talking to you about this at all.
Yeah, or you're lucky that you're even allowed to DM me. Because even that
you haven't been blocked already.
When you come into my DMs talking about some like, I think one of the DMs on top today said something like, "Whew, it's been a rough day," and I'm like,
what?
I don't owe y'all shit. I really do not owe you shit,
baby. You had a rough time today. I'm so sorry to hear
that. Did you? Because you saw a white person like you get killed in the Capitol, and it shook up the foundation of your security. And
terrible.
That sounds.
I'm so sorry you had to experience what I experience every day.
Here's a tissue for your white people tears. They're very like. I hope you don't sleep. I really do. That is like a sincere prayer. I hope that white people lose the same degree of sleep that I lose.
Of peace.
Because you shouldn't have it if I can't have it. It's just the right thing to do as far as I'm concerned. Like, I need you to recognize that everyone, and I guess I'll, this is I used to be a flight attendant, so seat backs up, tray tables up. I'll land the plane by saying that we all, regardless of your incarnation, we all are making deliberate choices every day about the human beings we want to be. And this is why I don't let up on white people, black people, and everyone in between. Like, every day and every moment, we're making deliberate choices about what we want to put out into the world. And the people that went to the Capitol today made a choice. When you live with your head in the sand, not protecting and defending black lives and black liberation, you're also making a choice. And I'm not going to pretend to not see that anymore. And so for those of you who liked the Wayne Brady approachable black man version of me,
not Wayne Brady,
go follow Wayne Brady. You know that trope, like the
the funny black man,
the funny black man that puts us at ease about
the one who makes you laugh.
Yeah,
laughs at all your dumb jokes.
And laughs
never brings up anything that's race conscious at all.
At all.
I can talk with you about the weather and what you made for dinner all day.
I've never, and like, don't send me emails. And Wayne Brady, if this is true and you give a fuck, which I don't think you give a fuck about me because you're a multimillionaire, but if you do, please, if you've ever said anything to defend black people,
I would love to know about it.
I would love to know it. But I've never seen Wayne Brady. And see, that's the kind of thing that I get pulled into because people see the smile, and when I'm cleaned up, they see, the approachable black man, like, sings in our styles and in our modes, like, like. And then when I hit them with that, like, Black Lives Matter, or when I hit them with that, like, you're trash for making me feel inferior in my day to day, it's like, and then you see, like, views drop and unfollows and things like that. I'm realizing that my great grandma Sally didn't have a DM, like, or follow. She's a black woman in America who was tormented by your ancestors. That's what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck happened. If you ever get an experience, if you ever get that chance, if things ever open back up, go to Nina got me tickets to the African American Museum of History and Culture, Smithsonian. And when you go,
it's down the block from the Capitol building.
They didn't storm that shit.
I wonder why.
But I digress. When you when you go there, you feel a heaviness in your spirit as it relates to what one set of human beings put another set of human beings through purposefully and still do for something as trivial as the color of skin.
Something we don't even have control over.
I cannot control that.
I can't help that I have melanin. It's just there.
And it's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much.
It really is. I want to thank you, Nina, for coming on to this supercharged discussion. I just want to say one more time that the views and opinions of Andre do not reflect the views and opinions of Nina Wilson. I am unhinged in this time because rightfully so, I deserve to be. And so I say things that may make me unemployable and uncredible, but I believe that I didn't come here through my ancestral lineage to pretend like y'all are smart when you're not.
Well,
it would just be beneath my training and my schooling, and like Nina and I are having intellectual and deeply felt conversations around the clock about these things, and to pretend that we don't have these treasures in these earthen vessels would be, I think, a mockery to the greatness of our God.
And disingenuous, yes.
I think that these gifts have been placed for a reason. And so I just want to thank you, Nina Wilson, Auntie Neens.
You're so welcome.
For coming on tonight and sharing with us in this first very charged Love to Be Live of the year. I think that if we can remain in this spirit of truth for the next 365 days, the world is going to be changed just by our presence in it. I think that we need nothing but add water and stir, and then magic will happen. And I thank you for being that affirming presence. Where can people follow you and find you on the internet if they want to grab hold of your beauty and goodness?
Thank you so much. So if you are looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at Neens. It's N as in Nancy, 4 E's, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam, and then an underscore.
That's it.
Yes, it is.
Nina has amazing things to say about Black women and the body politic, and an amazing blog with really thoughtful musings. For those of you who are Googling how to protect a Black woman on the streets in your willful ignorance, I encourage you to follow Nina, and maybe don't bother her with your stupidity. But maybe just kind of following her words and paying attention to her and loving on her would give you insight on how to actually stand for and stand up for the beauty that is Black people, and our crowning. I feel like the crown of the Black identity is the Black woman. It's
I
from
have to
which
agree.
all of us come, and I'm working more and more on my life in giving. I hate to say it this way because you niggas play too much, but the first piece of chicken on my table always goes to a Black woman,
Okay.
because my life is benefited. I come from a Black woman, as we all do. Look it up.
Yep.
And I stand in the company of strong, strong Black women like Nina, people who say yes to my request, people who show up and show out energetically, spiritually, in person and beyond. And so I just want to thank you for your divine presence in my life, sister.
You're so welcome, and yours and mine.
Thank you, love. And I know that more magic is going to come. So anyway, this is the first episode of the year of Love City Live. We've been joined tonight by Miss Nina Wilson, fabulous thought leader and Black woman who's going to continue to take up more space in the digital ecosystems and share her brand of magic in the world in the year to come. For those of you who want more information about Love City Arts, which is the company I run, that's dedicated to encouraging, equipping, and empowering people of all walks of life to kind of get what's inside you out. If you want to be able to curse white people out in the way that I do,
on Wednesday,
there's a class for that. I don't mind you all swooping into my DMs as long as you bring light, love, and positivity. All right. So until next time, Nina, I'm going to hit you up on the WhatsApp as always after this is said and done. But I thank you all for listening. For those of you who are really into encouraging and equipping and empowering people, red and yellow, black and white, purple, green, if that's your jam and you're willing to walk through the fire of truth to get there in real relationship and real community, this is the place for you. We'd love to have you. LoveCityArts.org, Love City Arts on all the platforms. I'm Andre in the Flow, and this is Love City Live. Have a great night, everybody.
good night.